All right, welcome to another episode of My FX Buddies, the podcast. All right, and I say podcast because there's a blog which you might want to go visit to see these articles. So yesterday there was one. The title of this. Just listen. The dinar begins its recovery journey against the dollar. Woo! So that came out yesterday, and I was gonna try to do this yesterday, but it just didn't work out. And then today, there's another article that's equal in encouragement, right? Because we don't get excited, we get encouraged. All right, so today is Thursday, November 16th. This should be posted on Thursday, November 16th. Um, so, and then the way to see articles that I'm going to cover is to go to the blog, which is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. Ooh, that scared me. Um, this thing is the window's open and it's a little windy today, and so you might hear this thing rubbing against the wall, but it's all right. Okay, so you would go to the blog and then eventually, well, it doesn't matter if you're listening to the podcast wherever you listen to the podcast, you can follow along because I'll say this is the article and I'll show you the the part, you'll see it. You'll see, and you can read along. Plus, you might want to read the entire article rather than just a little snippet that I am covering, I guess is the word. Okay, so and then the video, if you just want to watch the video, that is at Spotify.com. So then you go to Spotify.com and look for My FX Buddies, and the video is there as well, I believe, as just the audio. Okay, oh, and for the YouTube, anything that I show or display or cover is covered under the Fair Use Disclaimer Act, and because I'm just doing it to teach, share, comment, critique. All right. All right, now we can get to business. So, the dinar begins its recovery journey against the dollar. So there's a picture here. This is a place in Kurdistan, and they show this. The one of the rates is 1560, even though it says 156,000. What you do is you take off the last two zeros, and then it's 1,560 per dollar. So this 156,000 is per $100, but to make it easier, you cross off two zeros from 100 and you get 1, right? And then you cross off two zeros from this and you get 1560. And then the higher number is 1577.5, but that was yesterday. It's actually gone up. Today, they closed back in the 1580s and 1590s. But I think it's okay. Yeah. So, this starts off the Iraqi dinar continues to recover against the US dollar in the local markets in light of the continued government measures to close the price difference, blah, 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 right? Then it says yesterday, Tuesday, oh, come on. In a press statement, the government revealed a package of new measures to address the difference in the exchange rate, right? And that also will help facilitate the know your customer requirements. Okay, we can skip. Well, this, I always like when they use the word activation. So Sudani directed the activation of a joint committee between government, central bank, and the private sector, ding, 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 private sector, under the supervision of his office to hold serious discussions with the U.S. Treasury regarding transfers through the foreign currency selling window, and the committee began its meetings from now. So I think that weird terminology at the end could possibly mean this starts immediately, okay? Because then they go, and there are ongoing negotiations between the central bank with the Iranian side, and I just bet you the U.S. Treasury was there as well, to regulate trade between the two countries and make the best options regarding payment of dues and amounts, and discussions are taking place at a good pace. So I like that. That means there's no stalling. They're just doing their discussions. And it's about Iraqi banks importing the dollar cash. This process has already begun, with some banks importing the dollar, and the process will expand to include other banks. So if you listen, oh, I can't say that. Well, the dollar shouldn't be for citizens, and it even says down here it's for banking companies, um, tourists, and pilgrims. Pilgrims they're going on a holy trip somewhere. So that it's because they still don't want people using the dollar, and it is confusing. Well, why are they importing dollars if they don't want the people using the dollars? So there's still some trade that has to be done in dollars, and then the tourists and the pilgrims, just like when we're going on vacation somewhere, some banks will order euro, whatever, for us, so that way when we get to the other country, we'll already have their money, right? And we won't have to deal with being cheated or being confused. All right. Okay. Now this is interesting. He continued, whoever the government source person is, and is now working on an equal deal. What does that mean? Equal deal. So they're working on an equal deal project to exchange trade and imports with some countries such as China and India, and in their own currencies from Iraq's main trading partners such as India and China. Some other countries, blah, 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 because that's who they do most of their trade with. The government is also currently studying a re-export project, and there are important discussions in this regard. Okay, and if you listen to, I can say this, a certain phone call that takes place on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays that was discussed in maybe in a better way, a more coherent way that could help you make sense of that. But yes, so they're doing that, and now they said the dollar rate is going to go down, but it's also going to rise temporary. But that'll just be temporary, and that's what's happening. Today it went up. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't know. Sometimes I can get a rate quote on Fridays, and sometimes I can't. So we'll see. Okay. So that's that. There's one more little bit. So here, this person expected the dollar exchange rate to continue to decline in the next 2 days, and it did, but pointed out that it would witness a rise again due to the trick of speculators in luring citizens to buy the dollar at low prices and then sell it again. So this was a good article, but what really moved me was the title. The dinar begins its recovery journey against the dollar, because that's what we want. We want the dinar to recover. All right, so let's see. So that was yesterday. Now there was some other stuff. Oh, I just wanted to point this out. Oh, I can't. I can't click it here. Oh well, anyway, this is a market watch, so it's an English, English article, but listen to the title. Don't rule out a Bill Clinton style 1990s boom for the economy. And this was UBS Global Wealth Division, I think. Someone from that part said that. But isn't that crazy? And I know there's some people who um don't, there's most people go, oh well, Bill Clinton brought down our deficit or whatever. Because I was definitely not following the government back then by using the money from the Kuwait dinar exchange. But some people don't agree with that, but that's life. Um, so the um that article. Oh, and then also if you listen to other people talk, they're just projecting doom and gloom for next year, right? But here these people are saying, no, no, we're gonna have a Clinton style boom. So I thought that was interesting. All right. Parliament finance stresses. Okay, this came out yesterday, also later in the day. Parliamentary finance stresses the necessity of accelerating the implementation of the comprehensive bank system. I don't know what that is, and I don't recall them using that phraseology before. So maybe this is something new. But there was a meeting with, so you can see here, the big banks, probably some little banks too, and bank directors, and probably the U.S. Treasury, probably the CBI, even though they don't have them listed here. They were probably there. But it says the meeting reviewed the steps for preparing the banking reform paper in line with the government program through the implementation of the comprehensive banking system. And they use it here again, accelerating the implementation of the comprehensive banking system, because I thought that was done already. Everything's electronic, right? They're connected to the international banks. So what could that be? So I was hoping to get more explanation of that. Nothing today talks about it, but maybe over the weekend or early next week. All right? What time is it? Okay, so and then also they talk about preparing data centers. Ouch. All right. Hold on. This pain will go away in a minute. Okay. The importance of, and I'm fine, don't worry. The importance of preparing data centers in accordance with the standards of the central bank and international banks. So I think those data centers are for tracking. They're, like we get tracked, they're going to track the Iraqis. So this is today also. 3 banks are bolstering, is that the word? Bolstering their um, capital. Sorry, my eye's itching. So Amin Iraq Bank increasing its capital to 300 billion dinars from, I think it's 250. Yeah, so it's currently at 250 billion. So they want to up it by 50 billion. Here's another one, Al Tafif Islamic Bank. They're going to talk about doing the same thing, going from 250 to 300. And the Worker Bank, that sounds familiar to some people. Look at this. They're going from 105 billion dinars to 271. That's a big jump, right? And it's been completed. So what why are they doing this now? Right? And then listen to the last sentence. New shares were issued worth 166.5 billion dinars, the value of each share being 1 dinar. So how quickly could that 1 dinar be equal to X amount of dollars, right? So, thought that was interesting. Okay, let's see. This is out today, November 16th. The price of the dollar will reach 1,450, right? Dinars. An economic expert explains the reason for the dollar's decline, and basically, it's all the steps, the measures taken by the central bank of Iraq in agreement with the Federal Reserve. So if that shouldn't say Federal Reserve, that should say the U.S. Treasury, because per our Constitution, the U.S. Treasury is the one that's supposed to deal with our money. But somewhere along the line, it's been given to the Federal Reserve, which again is not federal. It's a bank owned by private individuals. But anyway, another time we could talk about that. So yeah, so this is a pretty good article. And I know, it's like, well, why do you care about 1450? I will tell you later. Okay. So now remember when I said equal deal? What is the equal deal? Here's another article that came out yesterday. So, okay. It doesn't matter well, this is kind of funny. It says the dollar falls to 50, so 1550. Washington sent a lifeline, and the parallel market tasted depression. And then they have a little subtitle that says, a clearer picture to some extent. I need to sneeze. But, so if you're gonna go and try to find this article, it is after the one that I just read, and it has a red, for some reason they made the title red. I didn't. They did that. So look for that. Then it says a clearer picture to some extent, which perfectly describes Iraq, right? Very a cloudy, clear picture. But anyway, so there's some other stuff. They talk about the meeting that happened in Abu Dhabi, which is where they agreed to bring in the dollars and bring in the yuan and the euro and everything, right? So we keep on going down, and here's where the dealers are sad because they're not going to be able to make as much money anymore. What is an equal deal? While writing this quote-unquote clearer picture, to some extent, local media circulated statements attributed to a government source about a package of measures to address the difference in the exchange rate. This package includes blah, 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 stuff they already did. All right. So, financial expert Mahmoud Dagger, that should sound familiar. Dagger is his last name, and I always say how funny to have the last name Dagger. He believes that the equal deal means parity. Parity in trade exchange. So, they have to have a rate, right? And what example did I use? I think I said if India says, here, I'm bringing you this much clothes, this many tons of clothes, and I want X amount of oil or whatever they're going to get from Iraq. There has to be a rate of exchange, right? So, eventually it's going to come out. So then he goes on, he gives the example of China and India, which import oil from Iraq, where payments can be settled in the form of goods that Iraq needs from those two countries, especially since they are the largest trading partners. So there's got to be a rate somewhere, and I doubt it's 1320. All right, this came out later in the day. Also, they've already begun shipping the money. A shipment of $100 million arrived at an Iraqi bank. And so that's one of the differences too. This money is going directly to the banks. Because remember, there's some people who believe that the CBI is corrupt. So this money is going somehow through Citibank or JP Morgan directly to the Iraqi bank that it's been approved and designated to receive. And yeah, they just say it has actually arrived in Iraq. Okay, so let's see, we're halfway through. So I think these are, well, it doesn't matter what day it is, but so the next thing they're doing to control the dollar in Turkey, to reduce the dollar, the central bank agrees with Turkish banks to open accounts for Iraqi banks. And they've already done this. This is already done. They talked about this earlier in the year. But the difference, they're going to settle in euros, which I don't know why. I guess we have something against the Turkish lira, but I know the Turkish lira is down right now. It's down to some of its lowest value ever. But it says this will be completed within the next few days. And then there's way more. So here, central bank enhances the accounts of 13 banks in Chinese yuan. Now, somewhere along the line, that changed. It was supposed to just be 3. But they did say they were going to add more. So now it's up to 13. And I think it's going to increase. Yeah, in the near future, there'll be even more. So, but it's for merchants and importers can import their goods from China at the official price that will be provided by the banks, dealing in Chinese currency instead of resorting to the black market or speculation dollars, right? Okay, here's just another article of them saying they're going to print new money masses, but we know they're not. Okay, this isn't important, really. We could skip that. You could read that if you want. It's something about, well, we know that Iraq gets electricity from Iran. So they've extended this agreement for 4 months, 4 more months. And it'll probably get extended again. But somehow, even a show that I was listening to here in America, sorry about that thing dinging. It does that. It'll stop. And they're like, oh, way to go, U.S. President. You're opening $10 million for Iran. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I know I don't think this is good for Iraq, but it's good for Iran. But what do I know? And I know there's people who like to read those articles. I don't. But that's why I put them there. For the people who do like to read them. All right. Okay. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Oh, it was 23 minutes. Okay. Now this, why did I have this here? Economist. Oh, this is a really good article, but it's long. And I know not everyone's going to read this. But if you go to the blog, economists, government measures gradually reduced the dollar exchange rates. And I know we don't want gradual, but it's probably going to be that way until it's not, right? And it covers everything. Here it talks about they have foreign currency reserves to last 15 months, and the global standard is about 3 months. So they're well supplied, right? And then, and then here, the Parliamentary Finance Committee guy said the more bank accounts are strengthened and the number of outlets through which the dollar is financed increases, this will lead to the provision of a larger amount of currency, and thus the pressure on it within the markets will decrease and lead to relative stability and a decrease in the exchange rate. So see, they want to get a little bit more dollar. Oh, I can't. They want to get a bit more dollars in the economy, so it will take pressure off the dollar rate, but at the same time not get the speculators or what's the other word they use, smugglers, any help either. Okay. All right. right. So yeah, but this is like a comprehensive article that covers everything. But like I said, it's really long. Look, I'm still scrolling down and I'm in the same article. Oh, all right. Okay, so today, we're almost done. This happened today. Iraqi-Turkish discussions result in 4 points to regulate trade between the two countries. And really, I don't care about this. The hold on. I apologize. Hold on, because I know that's probably loud. But Turkey is also such a big part of Iraq. I feel if they are going to change the rate, um, they have to work something with Turkey also, right? So I guess that's why, in addition to water, I always tell you guys how Iraq gets water from Turkey. Um, so what makes me happy about this article is that they seem to have made some breakthroughs. They've established how to transfer money across the Turkish border. Basically they want to use the electronic platform, but they're probably not. But anyway, and they're going to activate the relationship between the branches of Iraqi banks in Turkey and the branches of Turkish banks. But activate is key, and I know there's new listeners in Iraq. They have 3 stages. First they approve something, then they implement it, and then they activate it. So anytime you see the word activate, that means something is about to move forward. Okay. So, and then also using credit cards, they want people to use cards instead of cash. All right. So here's another one of those articles about getting the rate to 1450. Okay. Again, who cares? I know we don't like that rate. Okay. So today, here's another article about Turkey, the discussions with Turkey. Oh, and this is pretty big too. I probably don't understand how big it is. Iraq becomes a shareholder in the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So it's good. It has to do with the first time they applied in 2018, they didn't get approved. Now they're approved. But there's a lot of news about that today, and it must be a good thing. Matter of fact, there's a headline. I haven't looked at this article yet, but it's something about here. The European Union determines the privileges of accepting Iraq as a member of the European Bank. So, but I'll read that. Maybe I might do another what is this? Podcast tomorrow if more good news comes out, right? I might do another one. But yeah, so that is something good. Like I said, I guess I don't understand how good it is, but it's something good. So we're going to skip these, but this is the other article. And, okay, yeah, we're almost done. I know it's long. I apologize. Okay. A source. Private banks and exchange companies express their preparations to reduce the exchange rate. Okay, it's 3 sentences, so bear with me. Today, Thursday, a source revealed moves being made by the private banking sector and exchange companies aimed at raising the value of the dinar against the dollar. And that's what we want. I'd rather have terminology saying raising, I want the focus to be on raising the dinar, right? Not the dollar. Okay? Private banks and exchange companies are showing great preparations collectively and in coordination to reduce the price of the dollar, noting that this will be through expanding engagement with the official market and its high capabilities. Okay, official market is what today? 1320, right? Sorry, 15 whatever, almost 1600. So that's why they're like, we want to get it down to 1450, right? So this is the last sentence. There are ongoing meetings to discuss several options that the market will undertake by itself to impose stability in the exchange rate. So I'm just thinking with myself, which can be dangerous, but I'm wondering if that sounds like they're going to put it on Forex and then let the market move it, right? But also, what rate is that? What rate would that be? What are they calling a stable rate? Could it be that 1450 they're talking about? I don't know. Okay, so this was my favorite article of the day because it talked about the value, raising the value of the dinar. And the private banks, oh, well, let me explain. So the state banks have already done this. Rashid, Rafidan, Trade Bank, they've already done it. Now the private banks and exchange companies are catching up. Okay, so that's why that's so good. So good. All right, so this was, if you listen to the last one, and I was like, oh, I meant to put this. The Ministry of Finance has turned over the final accounts of the budgets from 2017 to 2019 with the promise to soon have 2020 through 2022. Now, as long as I've been in this, there used to be, a lot of people don't talk anymore, but there was a school of thought that the RV could not happen until these other budgets were opened. And so here we are. And remember also, the Ministry of Finance is working 7 days a week through the end of the year. So possibly they're working to get all of the old budgets open and to get ready for a new year with a new rate, right? That's what I want to believe. Okay, and then one other thing I wanted to show you. So this is an article, very nice, lovely article. And let's see if if you want to read this. Oh, actually, you know what I'll do? After in post-production, I'll put this at the very end. So the title is Unshackling the Iraqi Dinar. Love that. But look what they did. Let me see. Oh, it's back up. Okay. I tried to go there before and it was down. And I wanted to show you guys you know how I always say, sometimes they take articles down. It was down, but it's back up. So yeah, but look at the first, let me just read a little bit of it. And this is from Pakistan's news. This is why I'm bringing it up. So you can't tell me the whole world isn't watching the Iraqi dinar. On January 1st, 2024, Iraq will ban all transactions involving the US dollar. The primary objective behind this decision is to wrest, and that's W-R-E-S-T, control over a fluctuating black market exchange rate and bolster the utilization of the Iraqi dinar. So, yes, take off them shackles. Remember that song? That was Mary Mary, right? But anyway, so yeah, it's right here, the Express Tribune of Pakistan. And it's a good article, but I'll copy and paste it and put it at the very bottom of the blog if you want to read it. So these are the articles that if you heard me on, I guess, Monday, where I said we're in a totally new place. No one can say, oh, it's the same old thing, nothing's happening. This has never happened before where they were bringing in other currencies, allowing other currencies to be moved. we're at a new place. That's all I can say. And we've got to be close. Um, you know, so we'll see. We have to just go day by day. But I mean, um, we're less than 40 days away from the end of the year, right? So just hang in there, accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And yeah, I say thank you for listening. I apologize again. It went long, but I try to squeeze in as much as I can, and hopefully you can understand. And yeah, so if you have people that don't believe, send them to this blog, this date, November 16th, and tell them to read these articles. And they'll see these are steps that have never been taken before. All right. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon. If there is a join, subscribe, whatever button there, click that. And that way, when I update, you'll be notified because I don't update regularly. All right. Until next time.